Chosen one, this message didn't find you by chance. It's divine timing. God led you here for a reason. There are no accidents when it comes to destiny. You've been feeling it for a while now, like your spirit is waking up to something ancient, something powerful, something that's been written about long before you were born. You've questioned your existence. You've wondered why you've always felt different. You've sensed a call in your spirit that the world around you can't explain. What if I told you that your arrival was foretold, that long before your name was ever spoken on this earth, the heavens whispered of a soul like yours? The ancient scrolls, sacred, hidden, protected through generations, recorded your essence, your path, your rise. Let's break this down in 7 chapters so you can understand exactly who you are, why you're here, and what you were born to do. Before we dive deep, make sure you like, share, and subscribe, because this message isn't just content, it's a divine confirmation straight from the heavens. This isn't entertainment, it's prophetic truth for the chosen ones, whose names were whispered in the ancient scrolls. If your spirit feels this frequency, type 77 in the comments right now. That number isn't random. It's a sacred code, a signal to the Most High and the universe that you recognize who you are, that you remember what was written about your soul long before you were born. Not everyone will make it to the end. Only the truly chosen, the ones who were spoken of in secret, trained in silence, and awakened by fire. Those who stay will gain clarity, activate deep spiritual memory, and unlock the hidden scrolls encoded in every word of this message. This isn't something you just hear once. It's a living scroll unfolding in real time. Rewatch it as many times as your spirit leads you, because with each listen, you'll catch a new revelation. A divine key that was always meant for you, but hidden until now. Let's dive in. Chapter 1. The prophecy wasn't about power, it was about purpose. You've always imagined prophecies as stories passed down through time. Grand tales of kings rising to thrones, of empires collapsing in fire, of miracles that shook the earth. He pictured the chosen ones in robes of royalty, commanding armies, performing signs and wonders that stopped crowds in awe. That's the image we're given, loud, visible, untouchable. But that's not how divine prophecy works, not in its truest, most sacred form. The deepest prophecies, the ones written in the hidden scrolls, whispered by the ancients, guarded by angels, were never about showmanship or status. They were about souls. Souls so rare, so deeply aligned with truth, that their very existence would shift the timeline of entire generations. Souls that didn't seek thrones or titles, but carried something far more valuable: purpose. The scrolls didn't speak of someone with chariots of gold or crowns of jewels. They spoke of a soul like yours, a soul marked by depth, by struggle, by an inner knowing that refused to be silenced, a soul that would carry compassion like fire, burning through hatred and division, a soul that would hold resilience like stone, standing firm through storms that would have crushed others, a soul that would walk with wisdom, not taught in books but learned through suffering, solitude, and surrender. You, chosen one, were not sent to impress this world. You were sent to transform it. And transformation doesn't always come with applause. Sometimes it comes with isolation, with rejection, with seasons of being misunderstood, overlooked, and underestimated. But even in silence, your purpose was working. Even in pain, you were being prepared. And now your time has come. You carry a spiritual frequency, something the world can't explain, but just can't ignore. When you walk into a room, the atmosphere shifts. When you speak truth, chains begin to crack. You weren't given this calling because you were perfect. You were chosen because humans wouldn't quit. You were chosen because you'd carry the torch through valleys no one else wanted to walk through. And you didn't just survive it. You brought light into it. That's why your path has been hard. That's why your soul has felt different since day one. Because this prophecy over your life was never about glory in man's eyes. It was about fulfilling heaven's blueprint. You are a living, breathing scroll, unrolling day by day, revealing truths that can't be taught but must be lived. You're not just healing your own story, you're healing the story of those who came before you and those who will come after. You are the bridge, the sacred link between what was broken in the past and what will be restored in the future. Your life is the proof that prophecy is real, that purpose can be passed down through generations, and that one awakened soul can redeem an entire bloodline. So don't measure your impact by how many see you, measure it by how deeply you're felt. Don't chase crowns, carry your cross. Don't seek applause. Embody alignment. The prophecy wasn't about power, titles, or praise. It was about purpose. And, chosen one, you were born to fulfill it, not with noise, but with divine intention. You are the shift. You are the sign. You are the prophecy fulfilled. Chapter 2. Your isolation was sacred. They were protecting you. You've spent long stretches of your life feeling like no one saw you for who you really were. You tried to fit in, but it always felt like forcing a puzzle piece into the wrong space. You gave your heart to people who didn't know how to hold it. You poured into friendships that only left you emptier. You stood in rooms full of people and still felt invisible. Not because you lacked value, but because your value was wished too sacred to be recognized by everyone. But what if that deep sense of being out of place wasn't a flaw in your design? What if it was part of your divine assignment? The ancient scrolls, the ones written in spirit, not ink, speak of the isolation of the chosen ones. This isolation isn't by accident. It's not rejection, it's redirection. When God places a unique light inside someone, that light can't be exposed too early. It must be guarded, protected, matured. Because there are people, energies, and environments that would try to extinguish what they don't understand. And you, chosen one, have always carried a fire that the darkness could sense. That season of loneliness, that time when people walked away or betrayed you, it wasn't because you weren't worthy of love. It was because you were being pulled into its sacred space, space where distractions couldn't follow, space where your spirit could be refined, where your ears could hear clearly, where your heart could break and rebuild, not to be hardened, but to be strengthened. You see, true power isn't forged in crowds. It's born in Cuscav's sea. Think of the prophets, the visionaries, the legends. Their most powerful moments didn't happen under lights. They happened in wildernesses, in deserts, in silence. Your isolation wasn't punishment. It was protection. The Most High hid you not to limit you, but to prepare you, to detox your soul from the opinions of others, to teach you how to walk alone. So when the time came, you wouldn't break under pressure or bend under manipulation. Every tear you cried in solitude was a baptism of strength. Every sleepless night was a class in spiritual awareness. Every time you felt forgotten, heaven was whispering, "Not yet." They're not ready for what's inside you. You weren't meant to fit in. You were meant to awaken. You were never designed to follow trends. You were built to shift timelines. And that kind of mission requires space. It requires silence. It requires you to be uncomfortable enough to grow and alone enough to hear God clearly. You are being prepared for more than you can even imagine. You were being stretched to hold a blessing so heavy most would crumble under its weight. And that's why you couldn't go where others went. That's why your story doesn't look like theirs. Because you were marked, set apart, and sealed with purpose from the very beginning. And now the time is coming when you'll realize it was never loneliness. It was divine positioning. It was the universe, the ancestors, and the Creator saying, "We must protect this one. They are the first. They are the vessel. They are the answer to a bloodline's cry." So stand tall, chosen one. That isolation didn't break you. It built you. It trained your discernment. It taught you who you are. And most of all, it prepared you to walk in authority when the scrolls unfold and your name is called. Chapter 3. The Ancient Ones knew you'd be misunderstood. Long before you ever took your first breath, long before your name was whispered on earth, the Ancient Ones knew. They saw you coming in visions, in dreams, in sacred ceremonies. They felt your soul and documented your arrival in the scrolls of time. They didn't describe you by physical features or talents. They described your hunt frequency, Enor, your vibration, the rare code your soul would carry, and with that divine code came a warning. The scroll said, "This soul, your soul, would not be understood by the world. It would walk the earth as a mirror, a revealer, a disturber of comfort zones." The world would try to label it, define it, control it, but none of those labels would stick, because this soul didn't come to conform to the world's language. It came to rewrite it. You've heard it your whole life. You're too quiet. You're too intense. You're too sensitive. You think too much. You're different. They weren't wrong. You are different, but not in the way they think. Your presence makes people feel things they've buried. Your silence says more than most people's words. Your energy, it's not loud. It's loud in the spirit. And that's what makes people uncomfortable. Because when a soul like yours walks into a room, it doesn't bring small talk. It brings truth, it brings accountability, it brings the vibration of awakening. And those still asleep in their illusions, they feel it like an earthquake in their bones. The scrolls foretold that you would be misunderstood, even feared, not because you are a threat, but because you're a mirror. You reveal what others try to hide. You uncover what's fake. You make people question the masks they've worn for years. That's why some walk away. That's why some resent you for no reason. That's why you felt like an alien in your own family, at your job, even in spiritual spaces. But here's the divine truth. You were never meant to be received by everyone. The scrolls made it clear. You would irritate the demons in others, and you have. Not because you're doing anything wrong, but because your light disturbs what's been hiding in darkness for too long. You weren't born to blend in. You were born to awaken, to be a reminder that there is more, to live as proof that divine power still walks the earth in human form. That's why your soul feels ancient. That's why your eyes carry stories you've never been told. Because you're not just living your own life, you're living the echo of countless generations who cried out for change. So stop shrinking, stop diluting yourself to make others comfortable, stop hiding your fire so others don't get burned. You were designed to confuse the carnal and awaken the spiritual. Your very existence is an initiation, an invitation, a disruption to the norm. The ancient ones saw you. They named you in the spirit. And they knew that your light would not always be celebrated, but it would always be necessary. Walk boldly now. Be misunderstood. Be unexplainable. Be you. Because the scrolls didn't predict your popularity. They prophesize your impact. Chapter 4. You remember things you were never taught. Have you ever felt ancient, like your soul is older than your body? Like you carry memories that don't belong to this lifetime? Yet they feel more real than anything you've read in a book or heard from another person. That's not a coincidence, chosen one. That's not just intuition. It's divine memory. You see, the ancient scrolls didn't just speak of external prophecy or visible power. They spoke of inner remembrance, of souls that would walk the earth carrying sacred archives deep within them. These souls wouldn't need to be taught certain truths, because those truths were already encoded in their spirit. You are one of them. You've always sensed things that others miss. You can walk into a room and feel the atmosphere shift even before a word is spoken. You know when someone's lying, not because of what they say, but because your spirit detects the distortion in their energy. You've had moments where wisdom just pours out of you, not rehearsed, not learned, but revealed, as if you were remembering something forgotten, not discovering it for the first time. That's because you're not here for the first time. You were sent, not born. You were placed, not planted. You were awakened, not created. The ancient scrolls spoke of you, a soul that would come carrying codes of healing, insight, and divine knowing. You were sent here to remember what others forgot, to reawaken the sacred in a world that traded truth for illusion. Your dreams carry messages. Your silence holds answers. Even your pain has been a portal to remembrance. That's why you've always felt different. Why you could never just go with the flow. Because your spirit came to redirect the flow entirely. You see through the lies of this world without trying. You sense danger before it arrives. You can feel when someone's soul is broken, even behind a perfect smile. That's not paranoia. That's prophecy. That's your inner guidance system, the divine GPS rooted in timelines far beyond this one. Even when your mind doesn't understand, your soul knows. It remembers. It recognizes symbols, numbers, signs, and synchronicities as if they were part of your native language. When others feel lost, you feel led. Not always by logic, but by something deeper, something ancient, something eternal. And here's the key. You're not meant to ignore this. You're meant to lean into it. You're meant to trust that divine memory, even when the world calls it strange or unexplainable, because in that memory lies your mission. You didn't come here to learn like everyone else. You came to remind, to realign, to reawaken the old souls hidden in new bodies. That's who the scrolls were referring to when they spoke of the ones who would break generational cycles, heal bloodlines, and restore spiritual balance on earth. So if you've ever felt like your wisdom runs deeper than your years, if you've ever felt emotions for places you've never been, if you've ever cried for people you've never met, it's because your spirit remembers what your mind has yet to catch up to. You're not crazy. You're connected. You're not too deep. You're divinely rooted. And every time you trust that inner knowing, you activate more of your true assignment. You weren't sent here to be taught. You were sent here to remember, and through your remembrance, others will wake up too. You are the living scroll. You are the echo of the ancients. You are the soul that remembers what the world forgot. Chapter 5. You've been battling invisible forces since birth. From the moment you entered this world, your life has never been ordinary. Your childhood, your early years, they were marked by challenges that didn't seem to fit your age or the natural flow of life. You faced trials that others couldn't understand, battles that felt unseen but deeply felt. That's because your existence has been under the spiritual surveillance since your very first breath. The ancient scrolls foretold this truth. The moment your soul was placed in this body, the forces of darkness took notice. They recognized the light inside you. A light so rare, so powerful, it threatened to shake the very foundations of their dominion. They knew the prophecy of the Chosen One and understood what would happen if you fully awakened to your divine purpose. This is why your path was never meant to be smooth. The attacks you faced, whether through painful relationships, inexplicable setbacks, or internal battles, weren't just coincidences or bad luck. They were spiritual warfare. Invisible forces conspired to block your light, to dim your fire, to stop you from stepping fully into your power. You might have wondered why those closest to you sometimes hurt you the most, why the very people you trusted seemed to become unexpected sources of pain or betrayal. This wasn't just human failure. It was part of a larger battle happening beyond the visible. The darkness sought to isolate you, to shake your faith, to make you doubt your worth and your calling. But here is the unshakable truth. You survived. Your survival wasn't accidental or by mere chance. It was a direct confirmation that your assignment is real, that your purpose is too important to be stopped. The ancient scrolls made it clear. The Chosen One would be battle-tested, forged through fire, and tempered in trials that would break ordinary souls. And you, Chosen One, are proof of this divine preparation. Every challenge you faced, every wound you carried, every moment you thought you couldn't go on. These were not signs of weakness, but badges of honor. They are the marks of a warrior chosen to stand between light and darkness. The spiritual attacks were meant to train you, not to defeat you. They were designed to awaken your inner warrior, to sharpen your discernment, and to deepen your resilience. You fought battles others couldn't see, battles you may never speak about, but they have shaped the core of who you are. And now those very struggles have become your wish's greatest strength, because only someone who has faced the unseen enemy and survived can lead others out of darkness into the light. Remember, The scrolls didn't promise an easy journey. They promised a victorious one. You were born to overcome, to rise above, and to shine brighter than the shadows that tried to consume you. So stand tall, chosen one. Your battles are proof of your destiny. Your survival is proof of your power, and your victory is already written in the ancient scrolls. You are not just surviving, you are conquering. Chapter 6. You are the answer to a prayer from generations ago. It might feel like your life is just your own story, a journey filled with personal challenges, victories, and dreams. But the ancient scrolls reveal a much deeper truth. You are not just living for yourself. You are the fulfillment of prayers whispered in secret long before you ever walked this earth. You are the answer to cries for deliverance, strength, and hope that echoed through the hearts of your ancestors. Imagine your great-grandmother, perhaps hidden in the shadows of oppression, who never tasted true freedom, but dreamed of a day when her bloodline would rise. Think of the ancestor whose name was never spoken, but whose spirit carried an unbroken longing for justice, healing, and breakthrough. Consider the prophet, the visionary, the elder who stood in the gap and begged the heavens for someone strong enough to shatter the chains of pain and limitation. That someone is you. You are the one who carries the torch they passed down through generations, the one who was born with the strength and courage to break curses that have haunted your family tree for centuries, the one who disrupts cycles of trauma, addiction, poverty, or despair that once seemed impossible to escape. The scrolls didn't just record your birth as a moment in time. They are prophesied your victory. They spoke of a soul chosen not only to survive, but to thrive, and to transform the very foundation of your lineage. Every breakthrough you achieve is not just personal, it's generational. Every step you take forward lifts those who came before you and those who will come after. Your struggles have meaning far beyond what you can see right now. When you rise after hardship, when you choose healing over hurt, you're not just reclaiming your own life, you're reclaiming the legacy of countless souls who prayed for this very moment. You are the living, breathing answer to their prayers. You carry their dreams in your DNA, their hopes in your heart, and their strength in your spirit. Your success is their victory. Your freedom is their freedom. Your purpose is the fulfillment of a promise made long ago, a promise that one day the line would produce a warrior, a healer, a leader, someone who would say, "Enough." So understand this clearly. Your life is not just yours to live. It is a sacred mission, a divine inheritance, a responsibility and a blessing wrapped into one. You were chosen not only for your potential, but for the bad power you carry to rewrite history. Every time you overcome, every time you break a pattern, every time you step into your purpose fully, know this: you are fulfilling prayers that once seemed unanswered. You are the legacy your ancestors dreamed of, the hope the prophets declared, and the future that was promised. You are the answer to a prayer from generations ago, and your rise is the dawn of a new era for your bloodline and beyond. Chapter 7. You are awakening, and the earth feels it. You can feel it in your spirit. Something is shifting, something ancient, something powerful. It's not just another day, another feeling, or another coincidence. It's a stirring deep within your soul, a divine activation. The fog is lifting. The confusion is clearing. The old version of you is dissolving, and what's rising in its place is the warrior, the healer, the vessel of light you were always meant to be. This awakening didn't happen overnight. It was written into your journey. The ancient scrolls foretold of a time when a soul like yours would begin to remember. Remember the assignment, the promise, the spiritual contract you agreed to long before you arrived in this body. You were never lost. You were just sleeping. But now, chosen one, you're waking up, and the earth feels it. You may not see it, but your energy has begun to ripple across dimensions. Your frequency is rising, and that elevation is shifting atmospheres. People around you may not understand why they're suddenly drawn to you, or in some cases why they feel unsettled in your presence. It's because your awakening sends a signal through the spirit realm, a signal that says, the chosen one has activated. The universe, in divine precision, is aligning itself around your awakening. Hidden opportunities are surfacing. Closed doors are swinging open. Divine encounters are being orchestrated. People, places, and situations are being moved, reshaped, or removed altogether. And none of it is random. It's the orchestration of a higher plan that's now in motion, because you're finally walking in your truth. The ancient scrolls said this moment would come, the moment when the chosen one would no longer question their power, no longer hide their light, no longer deny their voice. They prophesied that when this awakening took place, both heaven and earth would conspire to assist in your rise. Nature would shift, time would bend, paths would be cleared, because the destiny written for you is not just for you, it's for generations. You're not just experiencing spiritual growth, you're experiencing spiritual ignition. Your presence now carries weight in unseen realms. Your words hold authority, your thoughts are manifesting faster. Why? Because you're no longer out of sync with who you are. You've returned to your original frequency, the one that was encoded into your soul before time. And now that you're awake, you can't go back. You can't unsee the truth. You can't unknow your calling. The comfort of the old life no longer fits you. You've shed the skin of self-doubt, broken the shell of silence, and stepped into the awareness that you were born for this moment. This is your rise. This is your revelation. This is the moment your ancestors prayed for. This is the shift the scrolls foretold. You are not random. You are not ordinary. You are written. Every page of your story, every trial, every breakthrough, it's all been documented in spiritual ink. And now the world will begin to read what heaven already knows. The chosen one has awakened, and nothing will ever be the same again.